Alright, I'm late with this news here, people, but I still want to give my little input on it. Oleksandr Usyk has picked up a minor elbow injury, so the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight final against Murat Gassiev has been postponed. There's a lot of chatter about what's really going on here. Obviously, you get the standard speculation as to whether Usyk's injury is genuine or not, because of the fact it is only a minor elbow injury. Then you get the people talking about the fact that Russia apparently, or, the Russian backers or handlers of Murat Gassiev are pushing very, very hard to get the final in Russia rather than in Saudi Arabia as it is currently scheduled to be. I don't know what to make of the whole situation, to be honest, people. I hope the fight goes ahead, but there was an interesting thing which Oleksandr Usyk actually said about this. And let me get the exact quote here because I do have the article saved. Oleksandr Usyk, one second. Where is this article now? Bear with me a second here, people. Okay, yeah, here it is. Oleksandr Usyk says, most likely I'll be ready to fight by the end of June or the start of July, and the fight will not be in Russia. Of course, it could take place in Russia, but then the fight would be without Oleksandr Usyk. So Usyk right there in no uncertain terms is saying he ain't fighting in Russia. That is just not happening. He was apparently willing to fight in Saudi Arabia. He didn't express any discontent with the fight being there. But I guess when people have put this idea to him that the fight could take place in Russia now that it's being rescheduled, he's like, nah, that ain't happening. So, yeah, that is a little concerning because you do want to see Usyk in the final against Gassiev. If it's not Usyk, if he won't be ready in time, I would have no problem seeing Bradis face off against Gassiev in the final as a fight, as a tournament headlining fight. Gassiev against Bradis is a great fight. The only issue I have with it, I just said I'd have no problem. I'd have no problem with it as a fight itself, but the only issue is the fact that all the belts won't be on the line. And I know the commentator, what's he called now, Ron McIntosh, he's been heard saying for the first time in history there will be 4 belts on the line in the cruiserweight division in the final, and that has been running as one of IFL's adverts for ages now. It's been doing a lot of people's heads in and whatnot, but you got a week, man. IFL got to do what they got to do, so big up IFL every time. But yeah, all the belts wouldn't be on the line, and that would be a problem to me. Now, some people are saying this actually works in George Groves' favor, because surely the World Boxing Super Series are going to be more willing to postpone the finals if 2 of the major finalists are injured rather than just 1. And not only 2 of the major finalists, the 2 most major finalists. George Groves is the biggest name in the super middleweight division World Boxing Super Series, and Usyk is the biggest name in the cruiserweight version of the World Boxing Super Series. In fact, they're the 2 biggest names in the tournament at this point. So for the 2 biggest names to be replaced by substitutes, surely the World Boxing Super Series wouldn't do that. To replace one of the biggest names, yeah, I can imagine them doing that. But 2 of the biggest names, not so sure. Usyk's injury appears to be far less serious than Groves's. So, perhaps he'll be ready before Groves, but he did say he'll be ready by the end of June, early July, which is around the same kind of time that Groves will be ready. So, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning more to the side of this helping George Groves. That the World Boxing Super Series will be more willing to postpone both finals rather than just one. Yeah, because they need at least 1 star. You know, they can't have both of the major stars out and replaced by a substitute. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I know it's a little convoluted and whatnot, but let me know what you think in the comment section below about the whole situation. Do you think this works to George Groves' advantage? Because judging by what Kalle Sauerland was saying, there was a real chance that George Groves was going to be replaced. A real chance. So, you know, and that's not down to Sauerland. That's down to the organizers of the World Boxing Super Series, because the organizers of the World Boxing Super Series were some of the same organizers of the Champions League. And they were sticklers, and they are sticklers for scheduling. They want scheduling to come before all else, because they really believe that scheduling will help to build the popularity of the tournament with the public. Because they want the public to know that on these particular, every year from September onwards, there's going to be World Boxing Super Series. And it's going to be on every single Saturday. You know? And that the semi-finals are always going to be around this time. And the finals are always going to be around this time. Around this date. And also, even on the actual fight nights, the main event is going to start 10 p.m. UK time. The World Boxing Super Series have been sticklers for this kind of precise scheduling. And because of that, they tend to be a bit more hardcore in terms of replacing fighters who get injured, etc. That's the message that's coming from them anyway, that they're going to be a bit more hardcore than most promoters would be, because of the fact that scheduling is so important to them, because they believe it builds the brand with the public. So anyway, you let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, people. It's happening. I'm out.